Well, greetings, friends. These last few months have been challenging, haven't they, to say the least? I think it's been a struggle to figure out, as a church, what we are called to do and to be, when all the ways of being church that we have been used to are no longer really possible in the same way. And then we look around and our world is in so much conflict and chaos. We do see all that conflict. We see that chaos. We see the conspiracies and the confusion over COVID-19, politics, and racial injustice. And we're left to wonder, what are we called to be as church in the midst of all this swirling around us? And this is something I've been wrestling with in the last 4, 5, 6 months. The Gospels remind us that Jesus sends out the disciples to do his work in the world, to change people's lives, to remove the obstacles that keep people from fulfilling their God-given potential, to make a difference in people's lives and in our world. You see, we all know this, but it's worth remembering sometimes that the church is not a building. The church is a movement. It is people at work in the power of the Spirit. As someone once said, the church exists through mission like fire exists through burning. There's a story I've told a couple of times in sermons before, and you've probably heard it. It's a story about this man who is aboard a ship, and he falls overboard. And several people rush to the rail of the ship and peer down, and the man in the water is shouting up, "Help, I can't swim." And one of the people on board says, "Hang on, I've got a book here to teach you how to swim. I'll throw it down to you." The second person shouts down, "Don't worry, it'll probably turn out okay. Worse things happen at sea. It's all in the mind, just think dry." The third person, probably from one of our UCC churches, shouts down, "This is tricky. We'll set up a swimming committee and email you the agenda next week." And the fourth person says, "Well, this isn't really happening. You're just imagining this. It's all a hoax and a conspiracy." And while all this is happening, the fifth person has jumped in, saved the man, and pulled him out of the water. See, Jesus challenges us to be people who make a difference in people's lives. Are the suffering and the dying better off because we follow Christ? Are the hungry and the homeless finding their lives improved because we follow Christ? Do children have a brighter future because we follow Christ? Are the marginalized affirmed and valued because we follow Christ? Do the self-seeking and corrupt and violent learn new ways because we follow Christ? You and I are challenged, like the 12 disciples of old, to change the world. While there is racism, inadequate education, and poor healthcare, then our job is not yet done. Until poverty is history, then our job is not yet done. As long as human beings remain literally or metaphorically in chains, then our job is not yet done. While there remains one abusive or manipulative relationship, then our job is not yet done. While one person is still tired of living and scared of dying, then our job is not yet done. While people and communities are divided and distrustful of each other and are unable to listen to each other, then our job is not yet done. You and I, the Oasis United Church of Christ here in Jefferson City, Missouri, are called to be the church. And that means that we are all loved by God, and that God calls us to share that love with all people, regardless of race, regardless of gender identity, regardless of sexual orientation, relationship status, background, job, politics. and everything else that divides us in these days. And so, my friends, let's go and be the church in our world today. God's blessings, and I hope you stay well. Amen.